Hello and welcome to MondayQuarterback.com for your weekly installment of Fantasy Football. I'm Keith Shelton alongside Eric Shelton and Damon Coons. Eric, what we got in store this week?
This week we're going to talk about your keepers, sleepers, studs, and duds on the quarterback. And Damon, who's your keeper?
My keeper, which may not be a real reach, is Matt Ryan from Atlanta. I think with what they've got going on down in Atlanta with a solid running game, solid tight end, and Roddy White becoming a future superstar, that Matt Ryan's going to be a guy you're going to want to hang on to for quite a long time. What do you think about that?
I think Matt Ryan is a typical homer keeper selection. My keeper selection will be Tom Brady. Tom Brady, he has Randy Moss and Wes Walker. He averages 37 touchdowns in the last 2 years. How can you go wrong with this guy? He's a stud.
You'll probably keep him for the next 2 years?
Hey, you play for today, you don't play for next week.
I want to keep somebody that I think is going to be around for another 10 years of solid production.
I actually agree 100% with Damon on this one.
Wow.
I like Matt Ryan. He's only 24 years of age, second year in the NFL, got a plethora of weapons. I think Matt Ryan's the man to have. I say Matt Ryan is the keeper. Let's go to sleepers. Eric, let's start with you. Who is your sleeper for this year?
My sleeper is Matt Hasselbeck. Matt Hasselbeck is going to be just like he was in 2007. He lit it up. He had 28 TDs. This year, he has Deion Branch and he has Nate Burleson, but he has TJ Who's Your Mama. And with TJ Who's Your Mama there, he'll be a great sleeper to have. Matt Hasselbeck, 2009.
I think that's probably a pretty good choice. If Matt can stay healthy, you might be onto something with that pick.
Thank you, Damon.
I myself, I like Jay Cutler. I've got a personal man crush on the guy. He virtually led me to a near championship last season. And I really hate to see that he went to Chicago, but I think the way Chicago's retooling a little bit for a pass-oriented offensive line, and Devin Hester's going to break out with a true gunslinger throwing it downfield to the speedy Devin Hester. Forte's back there to balance it out, and I don't think you're going to see as much out of Forte this year as you might expect, but I think it's going to help Cutler and Hester out quite a bit.
You do know that he does not have a true wideout on that team.
He's got Devin Hester.
That's a
He's
great kick returner.
Ball in his hands. He's good, man.
It doesn't matter. Damon's got a fat head of Jay Cutler above his bed in his bedroom. So
Jay Cutler could throw it to you, and I'd pick him, man. I think Jay Cutler is that good.
my sleeper's Matt Castle. He's got now Amani Toomer. He's got Dwayne Bowe. He's got a head coach that was an offensive coordinator that loves to throw the ball. My sleeper is flat out Matt Castle. You're going to get him cheap in a mid-round, and he will be the sleeper of the draft.
That's the first time a Kansas City Chiefs been picked in a long time, huh?
Yeah, definitely. I was thinking about picking him off waivers, but I might have to use my 13th round on him now.
Let's talk about studs. I'm going to go with Aaron Rodgers. He's got Greg Jennings to throw to. He's showed up last year with great numbers. I'm going to stick with Aaron Rodgers and the Green Bay Packers.
My stud's going to be Matt Ryan. I mean, he has the top 5 tight end in the league. He has a top 5 wide receiver. And he has a top 2 running back. Matt Ryan is definitely a stud. They have it all. They have it all.
They have it all. That's all we have to say. But how about Tom Brady? Did we forget about what he did 2 years ago with Randy Moss? He's coming off that injury, but he's had a whole year to heal. And I think Tom Brady is going to hook back up with Randy Moss. And if I'm you, sitting there with the 12th pick in a 12-team draft, snake style, I'd be looking at trying to snag me a Brady to Moss combination.
He was my keeper. You saw that, didn't you?
Brady, yeah, I saw that.
Okay.
You're saying I can't pick him since you're keeping it?
Ah, he's a good pick.
How about Damon? What do you think about duds? I mean, there's so many quarterbacks out there that are just not going to perform this year. What do you think about duds for this year?
Well, I think after you listen to the 3 duds, you're going to realize I'm going out on a bigger limb for my dud than maybe my partners here. But I think the changes in Indianapolis are going to not fare well for Peyton Manning. Peyton's just got too much change with the coach going out and his old buddy Marvin Harrison out of town, who really wasn't there last year for all intents and purposes either. But I think the Joseph Fadai is kind of struggling in the running game as well. Not enough balance, and I just think Peyton Manning's starting to get to that point in his career where you might get another year out of him, but I'm thinking you're going to see a slide starting this year.
Almost like a Warren Moon. All right. How about you, Eric?
Trent Edwards is a dud. Trent Edwards got T.O. He has Lee Evans, but T.O. is a cancer. T.O. has been a cancer with any team and every team he's ever been with. And if he does not have a good rapport with Trent Edwards will not be anything. He won't even make it the whole season.
And Trent Edwards has to be able to get the ball in T.O.'s neighborhood, first of all. But, I think you're right. T.O.'s not going to enjoy a quarterback that can't throw very well.
He's taking it hard.
Yeah.
I'm taking it hard. I'm a T.O. man. My dud's going to be Eli Manning. He's got a big contract. He's got no Plaxico Burress. Actually, he doesn't have a single receiver to throw it to. My dud's Eli Manning. He doesn't have much to look forward to besides that paycheck.
He didn't have much last year, and he took him well into the playoffs. So I think Eli will be just fine.
So both the Manning boys made the duds list. Any of you think that one of the Mannings might do better than the other? Or which Manning might do better than the other?
No, I think they're both going to be absolutely terrible.
I like Eli. I like the running game, and that's going to take a lot of pressure off of Eli. He did sign a big contract. Usually that's bad for quarterbacks. After they sign a big contract, they usually don't do very well. But I think Eli Manning, he is the better Manning.
I say out of the 3 duds, Trent Edwards is going to be your best dud, to be honest with you. At least he's got a true number 1 wide receiver and probably the best receiver in the NFL at this current time.
You must have a man love on T.O., Keith.
I do.
So I guess we know what fat head you have above your bed.
I do.
Stay tuned for next week. And what are we going to talk about next week, Keith?
Next week we're going to talk about we're going to do a mock draft, and we're going to talk about where those people actually fell in that mock draft and how that can help you prepare for your draft. In addition, we're going to talk about keepers, sleepers, studs, and duds for possibly the absolute most important position. Damon, what is that position?
Well, traditionally that's going to be your running back position. Is that what we're talking about?
Yeah, that's what we're talking about, Damon.
I think this year you could make arguments that the wide receiver could be a very important position, but next week we're going to talk about running backs. We'll get into receivers down the line.
So, running backs next week, mock draft discussion next week. Look forward to having you here on MondayQuarterback.com. Good luck. Have a good evening.